missing word. Without missing word. Does Nigeria have what we can say meets the infrastructure requirement of a developed nation? No. Good. So these are the kind of issues you look at. Look at your education. Yeah. Look at the social component. The social component. What constitutes the social component of development? The welfare of the people, security of the people, right? Yeah. So again, we look at that. Look at that. What will you build Nigeria? What are you going to score Nigeria with? 10%, 20%, 40. It's still not a big plan. So these are the of looking at physical structures. Yeah. Or we don't look at the Nigerian headquarters, Federal Capital Territory, and we think that that is a reflection of Nigeria, which is wrong. Which is wrong. Because the Federal Capital Territory, what is the population compared to the entire country? Even when you think all the capital, take capital, and try to reflect on the concept of development, you still find that they still don't meet, you still can't get, to the level that we can be called a developed nation. Why? Because at the end of the day, the individual citizen becomes the determinant of the impact of these infrastructure we're talking about. I don't think leaders of nations understand that when by the time you look at what you have provided as a leader, and then you look at the mind that the individual citizens are going to, leaders should be able to judge themselves and say, well, I'm doing well, because I'm not doing well. By looking at the indices of what the ordinary citizen goes through. For instance, there are people who want to travel from Danladi, possibly to the main campus of the university, but they're finding it difficult. How much does it cost to take a taxi from here to the university? Maybe 500 naira. Some citizens are unable to pay 500 naira. You see students trekking from Danladi to the campus, and they wake up very early in the morning because they have lectures by 8. They must get there. So when we find this kind of life, that citizens of the country go through this kind of life, it tells you that there is a problem with the development process of that. So you don't have to be looking at updates. These are what we refer to in the development language as what? As what? as growth. When you see the physical structure, they are growth. Yes, our country is growing. You see, you know, uh, roads all over the place. Yes, we are growing in those aspects. But we have not developed because even those roads that we think we have, how good are they? How good are they? Because some of these roads will impact on the individual and send us into the health sector where we will, we will not find happiness. So we should understand that yes, it's good to have physical structures, which is good. Yes, it's good to have this. But if we do not transform this growth to impact positively on the lives of the citizens and give them happiness, then there is no development. We cannot talk about development. Now, how do you measure development outside this dimension? How do you measure development outside this dimension? There are other, indicators. There are other indicators that professional body, try to help us understand. And some of these professional bodies may go into a specific area of national life. For instance, when you have, professional bodies like the judiciary, for instance, the legal profession, take it that way. In the legal profession, you have they have their, association. Now, we can understand the quality of Nigerian legal system when you now listen or understand the rules of this, legal profession. Because they will tell you what they are, what the legal, institution is all about, how it operates, and of course, how it impacts on the citizens. And when you don't look at that legal body, that professional body of the legal system, you can easily tell whether the system is positive or negative to the lives of the people. Let us take a look at our Nigerian situation. What will you say about the Nigerian legal system currently? Why should you say that? Why should you say that you cannot predict? Why? Because you don't use a common system. Don't know that the job is not at the scene of any situation. It relies on technicality. It takes judgment on technicality. That when you try to talk to our colleagues in the law, if you need to tell you evidence have. Like the other day, I was actually, I was kind of broke. I don't know whether this project is not that headings. It is only evident research methodology. If the person tells you this to research, go to the judge. If you tell a judge 1 plus 1 is 2, to us 1 plus 1, but we talk 1 plus 1 is 11. It's very embarrassing that most of the things that is put to learn the law, it is the technicality. If it's a anything and things to protect it. Yeah. Now, why we are making references to specific professionals in relation to development is that what we have just narrated, when you have that kind of legal system in a nation, in a country, it reflects the country's level of development. What do you think will make a judge not to deliver correct judgment? Huh? And when we also study corruption, when we look at the culture of corruption, forget about any other thing that, forget about spirituality. Let's just look at it from the human side of it. When people get corrupt, what comes to your mind about that person? What could be the motivating factor for corruption? Poverty. I will say that poverty. I will say that poverty because, before you become greedy, it means that you already have some. You only want more. But when you don't even have, then the driving force is poverty. And when poverty ranks as an indicator in your development field, it shows that you are not developed. So that the country is not developed. So I want us to let us in Nigeria, for instance, I'm sure some of you belong to different professional bodies. Am I correct? So just write down the professional body that you belong to now. Just write it down, right? Put it on your paper, write down, and then we call you to tell us the name of your professional body, and then you tell us how you operate. Let us see the relationship between what you do and this development concept that we are struggling to build. Yes? No, you must have. You must have, I'm sure. Okay, what is your occupation? I think you don't have a body. Eh? Even as a civil servant, you have your specialization and you have your brief. You even attend the conferences. There must be a body that has some relationship with what you do. Yeah. And I'm sure the labor union is an umbrella of this page. Fine. But if you cannot locate yourself somewhere in a more specific group, then you can tie yourself to the labor union. And then tell us, how does it work? How does it affect you? How does it, possibly fight for your... Yeah, because when you see professional bodies like that talking or fighting for a particular cause, it means that there is a gap in the development trend. There is a gap. So we try to find out that gap that has been created. Who created it? Then we see if that gap is covered or blocked, will there be change? If there will be change, if that change is going to be positive or negative. Of course, if it is positive, then it will be the development. If it is negative, then we are taking some steps backward. Have we done that? Okay, let me just sample. Or just allow me, anybody who is ready, just put up your hand and then tell us the name of your political body and what you do. Yes, Institute of Good, Institute of Safety. So, what is your main objective? Compliance. Ensure compliance with occupational Nigeria. So, basic standard all over workplace. So we cannot ask, for how long have you been in that association? Just, but how long has the association been in existence? More than 20 years. Do you think that association has achieved its objective or is achieving its objective? The message of safety has not been by most of our working organizations now. We have reaches in our organization. Some organizations have no they don't have to get into a family in their organization. They are there. But we're saying that they have been asking for some organizations have very good that helps the compliance. So what would you say is the cause of this, situation of lack of safety? Lack of safety. Yeah, lack of safety. Would have made me to start with that safety. What would you say is the cause? It's like the lack of clarification. There are items that are not practiced by our country. Some are going through the process now. Nigeria is adopting some of these IAA. Of course, Nigeria is not able to IAA. But some of these safety policies, they are not invited. What kind of activity do you refer to as being unsafe? It depends. It's peculiar to the workplace. There are unsafe things. It's peculiar to each work process. Okay. So I come to your organization, I'll give you what I'm doing. If I go to a general government, I'll look at something like acquiring the papers. I think government from yeah. I don't know if you get so it's peculiar to each workplace. But not to the industry. I will look at where they are constructed, I will look at their family, and they following proper standards. Somebody goes to the consumer company, not wearing and all the things. And everything can drop from break. So, but those things, if we know that those things are supposed to be there, why are they not there? That are like even you setting up a professional body to be checking. I'm saying that's what awareness that a lot of people are not aware that they are legal of the sanctions. When you do not put in place things for the safety of your staff, you are going against I like what you are not really correct the concept, but I think what you are actually saying is that our values are the problem. Because if I'm a contractor and you gave me this house to do for you, there is what we call it. There are provisions. There are certain standards. Items that must be in such a structure. And sometimes we find that if you are supposed to have how many points in this room, maybe 10, and they will put out 2 or 3 for you. The remaining 7, where have they gone to? Somebody and someone somewhere agree. Instead of the 10, put 3 or 4 or 5. The balance will go into our pocket. So you find that this kind of attitude You know, there's a certain level of development that you attain that your attitude will change. You know, and let me just say this. Sometimes it may be influence of your faith, but I want to just influence of faith, you know, system that it supports the end to be a better citizen. And if you are a better citizen, the tendency is that you will be a better leader. And if you are a better leader, it means that there is something available for you to manage for the people, to improve the life of the people. You will also do that. That is supposed to be the party in the area of development. That you have people who have, you know, positive attitude and values. They respect humanity. You give them a responsibility. They know that their responsibility is not just for themselves, but for everybody. And they make provision on how everybody will benefit from what they have been given to give. Now, if you have such people, then you are sure that development will be achieved. But if it's the other way around, which have left with the establishment of the safety unit profession, it's because certain things have not been going on here. But those things, safety profession, we just said 20 years ago. But you can see how old is humanity? How old is Nigeria? Like it's just 20 years ago that it started it. It means before 20 years ago, things were good. Things were good. And that was why nobody complained. People were being given what they deserve. And if you ask me to consult, do this for you, I will do it based on the specification. There will be no woo anywhere. But when you start having problems, then of course the issue of the safety thing comes with something. And of course you have to do like that. Thank you very much. That's good. So you can see, you can develop your research topic on that. If you want to find out the impact of your unit on you may limit yourself to a particular area of development and see how safety can contribute to the achievement of the goals of such a unit or agency. That's one area. Then the next person that is ready to turn it into the safety unit. The something water. Consumption. What? Yes? Yeah. Yes, no problem. Architect. Okay. So, okay. Okay. So then that is protect and promote profession. And the work of the is what and baby from the profession. We also find the description. But we have those two bodies are polluted or are polluted. We have different missions and things. For years now, they've been having clashes over the hotel practice. The kind of it can be not easy, but for my experience, you open your eyes. So let's look at the architect. architectural development. Now, uh, what is the problem that led to the establishment of that body? There are a lot of reasons. Yeah, but don't you want the main one that want you to, to come up with this because your political body is supposed to be a solution to a problem. So what was that problem? The problem. You have to get the design. Okay. Okay. You have to follow the standards. Yeah. Basically, that if you have to definitions, basically that outline the market class, basically that active every the design pattern, the concept, and also design according to the scientific factor of my environment. Yeah, but the way you design is practical way. Different of the issue design. It makes it better for the kids. Yeah, so you have the also that we want to be fast. The land is you know that political I don't think we show. Yeah, I don't know how they get trading. Yeah, then people will start forming without looking to speak. We learn from them and start practicing. Without knowing the basics of architecture. The question is how to design. And you know where you have to design value. You know the minimum space or distance. So improve for the start of the building. So they are first demanding that part of the clothing or some from part of the clothing. And another thing. So let's just stop there. If you look at what you have said so far, can you find a link between the functions of that your professional body and human capital development? Because once you link that to development, so can you see any now we are past the sustainable design that can that will make the environment be applicable. That is one major point. You know, because if what you are designing is where human beings are going to stay. So if that environment is not conducive, it can become a problem for human health. And population may have a problem. And if people are always sick, they don't go to office. You can see there's a long chain of repercussion. So your association is trying to protect that kind of consequences so that development can be faster. Thank you very much. Okay. I think you can see that, like what you are, what you have, what you already know, the development. And those are the areas that you are supposed to be working on your research. If you do that, it will now improve because what you are doing, by the time you go out to collect data, to come and do analysis, you will now see the relevance of your profession in the area of development. You see the contribution that development. And by the time it means you are not just selling you are not just promoting your association or your profession, but you are also contributing to people to have knowledge about, because some of your literature review, you are going to say some of the things we are discussing here now. Those parts, architect, and we now did it, and the consequences of that on human health and population. So it's a lot that people are going to learn from their profession. That's great. Yeah, I saw one hand. Okay, animal science. Okay. So tell us why animal science? Why are you interested in that? I mean, having a professional body. What are animals to you? You like eating meat. So you're taking them for your stomach. Okay. So what is the feeling behind your animal association? So what is the problem? I mean, why not human being? Why animals? We know if you keep the place from well, you have no people. So it's from you know they are related to animal. Like how the type of okay, that's some advantages and benefits of this. And you are saying that people people don't realize that yes, those benefits are okay. But they don't realize not common. So we get something that is possibly can target and say, look, human beings are doing this and doing it to get animal. And you think that there should be a change of attitude. But I think that there's a certain people, you know, where the people are going to see on you, give animals a meat back to food. Okay. 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 Another why. So how do you relate that to development? How do you relate that to that's the point. That's the point. I think there are vitamins given to and animals also continue their own pattern. So if for instance there is no meat in the market, if they don't sell meat in the market, how do you think people are going to feel? Or what will their health be like? So because the science people must have studied the importance of some of these nutrients and encouraging. Sometimes you go to the hospital, you say you are sick. They tell you that you have a deficiency of a certain nutrient, and they are going to give you tablets to take so that you don't feel that missing one. You know that there's no balance. It's not balanced. Your body is not balanced. So the animal that you keep, you can see there's a lot of there's so much with the problem we are having with headers and farmers. Uh, you can see that it's likely going to affect the population because if the meat is not there, you know that their health is also going to be affected negatively. So, but you know, we need to balance it up. Uh, I've seen, I've seen, that area that you are going to have it has to be linked to the human health, to the population, the people. Uh, the people in every process of development, no matter how much resources you have, natural resources you have, if you don't have the right human and healthy population, it is not, you won't be able to exploit your natural resources to the maximum. You can just think about, you know, when Nigeria was still under colonialism, I've read one material that said, even before independence, oil, this country was crude, was still being exploited on Nigerian waters. Long, time ago under coloniality. And why was it so? Of course, there were no indigenous Nigerians that were specialists in such areas. The white man must have come with his scientific instrument to locate these things, and they were making a lot of money. And the money was not coming back. That material says that it was the money generated from Nigeria or from African countries that built Europe. And that was, if you read What I will leave 90, you know, 70 different fields. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. You see part of what I'm saying, you know, that we didn't know. And this lack of knowledge was that we didn't have the people who have been trained. And of course, we can't get the people who have been trained if they don't know where the knowledge and the skills are. So what you have said in the area of uh, animal is very fundamental because your health also affects your knowledge. If you have a healthy population, you also have a knowledgeable population. The relationship between what you take, what you eat, and what you know. Yeah. There is. Sometimes when we talk about economic status and academic performance, we are, all we're saying is that this family, you know, they have high socioeconomic status. It means that the mother is educated, the father is educated, they have good jobs, they are earning good money, salary, of course. And so they are eating good food because they have the money to buy good food, they eat balanced diet. And so their children are sharp because good diet also impact on yeah. So that's the relationship. So you can see there is a change, you know, like go with development. And if you have to get a people, of course, you know, the society that belong to the community that belong to the people, they look different. So that is that. Yeah, any other one before we yeah, yeah, security and peace. Security and peace. Tell us your story and make it a development. Um, security and something for the parts of security and peace. It has its national protect in this sort of part. And it was founded by Professor Alba. Health Annex Office in Open University. Uh, it tries to investigate this that how companies of money in Nigeria using the first skill set of arbitration, facilitation, and all the rest. Dialogue, strategic communication, strategic negotiation. So that they are crisis. You can see in Nigeria that amount, like the society is ready to engage in the technical response, area groundwork, and honesty was achieved. We also go to not please dialogue, they have various offices at the level of the Supreme Court. It negotiates among different parties, whether like this speech, but it does not escalate into violence among other things. And above all, to be able to on the platform, you know, former head of states, suggest who are part of the society. And the society also belongs to an international body, the International Society for the Parties of Christians. The know it's an active. So you be keep down, okay, if people see that we don't think we violate and what government has done will not be just so we've been with them. But thank you very much. That's great. Now, let us get the benefit of this course. If you look at the material that I sent to you, if you open it, you will have seen, you know, a list of professional bodies, but they are foreign. Those of you who have, if you have not seen that, what I sent to you, then you understand what I'm saying. But if you open it, if you read it to where professional body are discussed their contribution to development. But those professional bodies there are mainly foreign bodies, foreign professional bodies. This one that we are mentioning here are not there. And as part of the development we are talking about, we cannot be swallowing in foreign money. We have to build our own money. So what we are going to do is that if you know that you don't belong to any, just because the nature of your job has not grown to the level that you have one, look at the other ones that have been mentioned and see if you can be part of them. You join. So that, did I give you assignment? I have not. So this will be your assignment. And it will carry 20 marks. Already I've kept 10 marks for attendance in the class attendance. But you take 20 marks, you go for this one. Because what you are doing, because you are going to contribute to the library of this institute. What we have, those foreign provisional bodies that I mentioned, we still have them. But we want to add our own local professional, the Nigerian or national professional bodies. So the part of what we supposed to be doing, because it is more interesting to us to use them to promote development than just reading about what the five man is doing in Finland. Because we read it, but we don't know how to think about the knowledge they are giving us. But we can build our own knowledge based on our own experience. So I want you to if you have 2 or 3 that belong to the same professional body, fine. You can just produce a common document under your professional body. Not more than 10 pages. Not more than 10 pages. Because I know if someone can write 20 pages. But not, it can be less than 10. But let it not be more than 10 pages. On your professional body. Just tell us the objective of the professional body. The objective. And then the activities that you perform to enable you to achieve those objectives. And then the last part of it was you justify those activities. Yeah, that they justify the activities. Why don't produce activities for the achievement of the effective trust? Your introduction cannot be devoid of when the professional body was founded. That's it. That you do your introduction when they founded. Then the objective, then the activity, then justify those activities. So those 3 areas what I expect. You give me more than that, fine. You only be enriching the library. Because what we intend to do is we produce a material. We produce a written material. This will be the author will be your big class. The author will be the master's PhD student of TID. SO3. You can go 3 or 813. 813. So before you graduate, you hope that you have translated that material into a book so that a copy will be there in the library. Yeah. And your, you remember to listen to that. And don't forget, you heard what the DG from National State University and your own director here telling you that before you graduate, there are certain conditions. And one condition is that you are public. You are public something. Either you are a book or a journal article on your area of specialization. So once you do that, you have made that condition. It doesn't end there. There are so many areas, so many requirements in some areas of human engagement that they want to see prove to us that you are academic. And one way of doing that is that you can cite an article, a journal article or a book you have authored or co-authored or edited as the case may be. So you have been making it while the sun is shining. Yeah. So I hope you understand me totally. So, yeah. What am I saying? That each and every one of us here, I don't know how many, when I get the attendance, I will know how many you are. Some of us belong to professional bodies. Maybe some don't have any professional body. But you know that you have certain skills that are relevant to another professional body that exists here. Join that professional body. And what do I want from that body? Please write out what your professional body is, your objectives of the professional body, the activities of the professional body, and justify those activities. Why? Why are we doing this? So that by the time we get that, we may decide to put each of these as a chapter. And put each of it as a chapter. And then, so if there are, for instance, 20 days out of this population, it means we have 20 chapters in that book. I will title the book, the title of the book is the title of this talk. There's the author, the class. We want, that the material that will be inside, because there are people who are going to come after you. We don't have the third, we direct them to, you come to this lecture, we direct them to go and control that material that you have to do. And so they'll be quoting you, just their own works, because you have laid a foundation for them. So that is really what we, and then when you think here, know that you have contributed to knowledge. Any question? Yes, please. Of course. Let me know if it's you that you're talking about. What is it you? Or you are just imagining? You are thinking that what is your opportunity? Entrepreneur. Ah, there are so many now. There are so many of them. Yeah. No, it's because you have not published yourself. That's why. Who is an entrepreneur? You need speaker. a risk taker. Who is an entrepreneur? All of you here are entrepreneurs. All of you. Even this your specialization you're talking about, it's entrepreneurship. You're an architect. People can come and learn you from you. You can teach people the skills of architecture. You can teach people so it's entrepreneurship. As long as it helps you to generate some income. So everybody here is an entrepreneur. You don't look for someone that you can work with. Maybe 2 or 3 of you. If the other people are not their professional body, they can take us from that. You that you don't have a professional body, but you are an entrepreneur. Right? You can say, get other people and you work together. Yeah. Oh, fine. So we are going to dedicate a chapter to each profession. So that tomorrow, when master students come, I will be talking about this topic again. We don't refer them to your work so that they can come and learn from it. And indeed, that's how knowledge is the gift. Yeah, please. Okay. Okay. How to measure the difference? Yeah, how to measure the difference? Like what? What? You are talking about characteristics, yeah? You know how to measure development. So how do you measure development? Those are the things we are looking at. These are the things we are now talking about. We are looking at, okay, the health of the people. So that was why when she talked about the hypothesis is animal, and that was okay. I want to relate the contribution of your provision that you give up that animal. How do they contribute to the Then she said, human beings about you, human intelligence are you and me. If we are eating and we are walking and we are not eating balanced diet, that was why I was talking about vitamins, nutrients. I was talking about vitamin D or protein, whatever. That if you are not healthy, if you don't put balance there, you will not be healthy. And as a human being, you're not able to do the work that they ask you to do in the office. And if you're not able to do it, there'll be a problem. It will affect if you want to improve something. Remember, development is not just working from heaven. It is human being. It is human activities that bring about development. And if that human being is not in the well, it's not healthy. How can we continue? And that's why I was even making reference to a family that is economically new. Level. It means the father is an illiterate, the mother is an illiterate. The children have not been able to go to good school because they don't even what they are farmers, so what they rely on is to produce what to eat. And even what they are eating is just one carbohydrate. There is no balanced diet. So they don't even see the meat to buy. They don't even have the money to buy the meat. Contribute to the kind of people that work in that environment. And the moment you enter that environment, you see the difference. Even their houses will show. The road you take to that such community will also tell you. These are all ways of measuring development. So when people say they are developed, they say no, it is not when this problem come and big one, big up there in your village. And you say that is development. You are growing. That's all. You are growing. The development will be when we begin to see people who are working, people are working in that place. That means they've been employed, they're being paid salary every month, they're getting money. The next thing is begin to see, have got a latitude, the place has changed. The children are going to now, they go to school with the bad money they have before they are playing with school without careful tech. Now they can play with it. You begin to see development, even the joy. Then you begin to start hearing drum and people dancing in the night. Before they just sleep. Once you are thinking, you can't sleep. Everybody is afraid of staying at the joint. Even hunger is a disease. So everybody, but because some of these things are coming in, their eyes are opening the key. Now some are started buying radio, some are started buying phone. When you begin to see this, all these things are good. But when people now begin to know how to use them, then development is coming because that knowledge of how to use it can be transferred, can be so good, can be put in some other people that can improve the life of the people and can bring joy, and bring happiness. So here's the way we want to discuss it. And we want to see how first we are looking at the contribution of professional bodies to this development. That's why we started with this different report. So tomorrow we may look at another company. We may look at another company. So I hope that God bless you. Thank you. I have another class. God bless you. Let me just round up by saying that this today's lecture, because my assumption is that you have read the material I sent to you, because this lecture is a class. It's very sad. It's very sad. I didn't, please, can we have a minute? Yeah, I don't want to be perfect. Huh? I need a class here. No, for this call, please say TID 803. Just open a class there, TID 803. And everybody here will have access to it. So that anything I send to that platform, everybody will see. You don't have to wait for class there to transfer it to anyone. So please, that is why I'm happy I have to go through this lecture. Next time I'm supposed to go to another class. I'm expecting that because everything about this course is inside that material. And the professional body is just one component that we have started today to look at. And I expected that we will have looked at all these. And when we come, we just ask questions. We move to the next step. So yes. Some of us are new students that we are taking to the first step. So you talk about the students, they really engage the next students. Which students are you now? First semester. How old are we in the first semester? No, when did the first semester start? When did it start? February. Oh, February. Okay, no problem. So all of you are in the same class. Even though some of you didn't make it, no problem. If you have any problem, like on that platform, please raise it up. And once like I said, 24 hours, if I turn around, sometimes I sleep by 2, sometimes I sleep by 1, sometimes I sleep by, but I always wake up. After I've slept for 1, 2 hours, I might wake up. It's just like that. That's the way we pray. So, if I see you raising a question on that platform, I'll give you the answer. So that you can catch up. I will still have to, there are other extra material that I sent on board, but until I confirm that you have read this one, because this one I've given you, If you're able to read it and understand it, you repeated it well. Thank you. Thank you. Go and eat. The last person to fill the attendance, please, when you finish, let me, no, make a photocopy of it, because I want to generate so please, can I get the number of songs and everything? Exactly. 080. That is the question I used to do. 08055